If you need any Xbox or PlayStation codes or any cheap PC games, use the referral link in the description. It will take you over to G2A.com. They already have a discount on most of their goods, and if you use the code CHES at checkout, you can get yourself an extra 3% off as well. Hey guys, how's it going? Chez back again, and welcome to episode number 3 of the Career Mode RTG, the Return to Glory with Nottingham Forest. In the last episode, you guys gave me even more suggestions for potential transfers. I've also transfer listed Danny Fox. Almost every single Nottingham Forest fan under the sun let me know via the comment section and Twitter, etc., that you guys hate Danny Fox, he doesn't get in the first team, you really don't rate him, and that I should sell him. So, I'm doing just that. I say narrowed down. I've narrowed down the shortlist of players that I've been searching. You can see it takes forever for the shortlist to load because there's still so many players on it. Just going to quickly scroll through. We will have a closer look at the players towards the end of the episodes once we've got more scout reports back. But you can see just the sheer length of the list of all of the players that you guys have suggested, and that's probably about half of the initial players that I started to scout. So it's been ridiculous. It took me a good hour and a half just to go through and read all of the comments that you guys have put on the previous episodes. So we're working our way towards some signings. We will have some transfer action in today's episode, of course, as well. And as you can see, we're trying to earn ourselves some extra money for the transfer window by getting further in this pre-season tournament. We've got ourselves out of the group stage and picked up around about £800,000 for doing so, which will come in handy very much so when it comes to bringing players in, because that's a good 10% of the wage budget, or transfer budget, sorry, that we already had. So it is a big improvement and a very big help, actually, to get further into this competition. We are 0-0 at the minute against Las Palmas, but then Chris Cohen lets rip with a strike from the edge of the box after 20 minutes to give us a 1-0 lead in the semi-final against Las Palmas. Now, they're obviously a La Liga side, and we are not necessarily playing against a side that you would say are on par with other sides that we'd be playing in the league. Wonderful finish, though, by their striker from the edge of the box. The turn and thump into the back of the net was very impressive. But like we were saying in yesterday's episode, we've not yet played a side that would genuinely be considered as one that would be of similar standards to the Championship, which is what we'll be playing in, obviously, this year. On the domestic front, I was quite disappointed with Doris de Vries there with that initial attempted save for the second goal that they scored. Chris O'Grady gets a good turn inside, though. Really unlucky with the shot, but there's Nelson Oliveira rising above the defender to power us back on level terms at 2-2 in the 68th minute. Things are not necessarily going according to plans so far in this semi-final, so I made 3 changes. So you can see Andy Reid, Jamie Ward and Ben Osborne coming on. We are now levelled on terms at 2-2 after going 1-0 up and then being played back to 2-1. Can we go 3-2 in front? Jamie Ward around the corner to Nelson Oliveira. Great turn from him. Decent attempted finish. Good save, but only as far as Ben Osborne, who's only been on the pitch a matter of moments. He brings us back to being in front. Finally, 3-2. So we've gone from 1-0 and then eventually managed to make it 3-2. Although, unfortunately, they're going to get a penalty 10 minutes from time. That wasn't necessarily the most clear-cut of penalties. For the start, I'm not really too sure what Michael Mancien's hair's doing. It's like he's got so much hairspray in it that it's just standing up like an actual tail from the back of his head rather than just flowing down his back. But that wasn't a penalty in my opinion. Went the right way with the keeper, couldn't make the save. They pulled it back to 3-3 with 10 minutes to go. I think that the attacker just straight up ran into Mancien there. There was no foul, but it ended 3-3, and there's no extra time in these pre-season tournaments, so it went straight to penalties. The 3 substitutes will take pens first. Andy Reid steps up and powers it straight at the goalkeeper, top right-hand side. Going to speed up the rest of the pens. They missed their first one, smashing it over the top of the bar. Nelson Oliveira buries it straight down the middle. Thank you very much. Vieira hit the bar, and it went over, so they've missed their opening 2. Jamie Ward puts his away, then Araujo steps up. Finally, they get a penalty into the back of the net. Chris Cohen buries his. We're now 3-1 in front. They need to score this to stay in the penalty shootout. Angel, as the footage slows down, steps up. Well, you couldn't get a much better penalty. That was right in the top left-hand corner. Although our fate is in our own hands. A penalty here to be scored potentially by Chris O'Grady would send us through to the final of the pre-season tournament, and he does just that. We are through, and we will take a quite nice, hefty, prize fund from that winning of the semi-final. And AZ Alkmaar actually lost their semi-final 3-0 to the other Turkish side that was involved in this tournament. We obviously played a Turkish side in the group stage. We get £1.1 million there just for getting through that one game. That's phenomenal. That's so much extra money. I'm also going to use the Scout Future Star here as well from the catalogue. So fingers crossed they're going to come back with an absolute stellar player that is going to be a star of this series 2 or 3 seasons down the line. That's what I'm hoping, and fingers crossed that is what happens. You can see we've got £11.5 million now in the budget. Using the money that we made so far from this tournament to bring in the best possible youth scout I possibly could. He was about £2.8 million, and so far we've made £2 million from this pre-season tournament. So effectively, so far we've got, let's say, 80% of a transfer scout or a youth scout paid for free thanks to this pre-season tournament. We also get a transfer offer here for George Grant or Jorge Grant. I don't know what nationality he is, to be completely honest, but I'm going to call him George. George Grant is going out on loan to Exeter for 2 years, and then it's time for the final of the European International Cup, Nottingham Forest versus Osmanlispor. So another Turkish side, at least I believe they're Turkish. I may be mistaken, but I haven't ever seen a side from another nation have sport in their name, so I believe they're Turkish. They're playing a 4-2-3-1, and we've got Pierre Webo up top, who's an experienced striker, shall we say. Not necessarily young in years in terms of a football career anymore, but does still have the calibre to and the technique and the ability to cause us problems if we let them create too many chances. Although Henry Lansbury, who I've been told by you guys to make sure that he plays as many games as possible because he's going to be a wonder star for us in central midfield, scores to give us a 1-0 lead. So he's going to be heavily involved, as you guys want him to be, taking on a lot of advice from you guys in the comment section so far for this series, which is exactly what I wanted to do, and thank you for your continued feedback. We again have another very good save from Doris de Vries. There was a little bit suspect against Las Palmas, which made me wonder, well, maybe I do need a goalkeeper, but then in this game he popped up with 3 or 4 absolutely fantastic saves. Another one there to keep them out. Pierre Webo with the good shot that was headed towards the top corner, needed saving, and it was very well saved and pushed around the post for a corner. Nelson Oliveira and Brita Sombolonga linking up yet again. They are reunited for this game, starting the full strength 11 that I possibly could for this final game, and I'm not sure whether that's a penalty either. Las Palmas' was questionable. This one, the defender just tries to lean on Oliveira and he just immediately crumbles underneath him. I don't quite think he was expecting Oliveira to just fall over there. Henry Lansbury, though, puts the penalty away to make it 2-0 to Nottingham Forest. We are in control of this final now. That gives us a 2-0 lead with just 30 minutes to go, and then when there are just 10 minutes to go, Nelson Oliveira gets it to Basilio into Mendes. He's going to have a shot that's going to be blocked. Nelson Oliveira, though, brings it down, and how's that for a turn and finish? Couldn't get much more accurate into that bottom right-hand corner. A very, very accomplished finish from the striker. Gives us a 3-0 scoreline and eventually a 3-0 victory against Osmanlispor. We are going to win the pre-season tournament. As you can see, we're celebrating with a trophy there. So I think that series over, isn't it? That was the main aim, Europe, to win a European Cup. We've won a European Cup now, so thank you very much for watching the Career Mode RTG. We have returned Nottingham Forest to glory. I'm obviously joking. We want to win a proper European trophy, so we'll continue on for a few more seasons here at Nottingham Forest. But we're doing some training here, and Tyler Walker, not Tom Walker, as was pointed out to me in the first episode, or second episode, is going up an overall rating already. He has potential to get to the late 70s, apparently, so I'm really looking forward to using him over the next 2 or 3 seasons or so. We start in the league with a game against Hull City, and we have a cup game in the Capital One Cup against Bolton Wanderers, so we've got tough opposition to start the season off with. Hull obviously just come down from the Premier League and are having a good season in real life as well, so we know that they're going to be a tough challenge, so it might be a good kind of tester to see what sort of level we'll be playing at in the Championship. If we beat them convincingly, then I'll feel confident about getting promotion. If we struggle, or if we, just kind of limp towards a draw, then we'll know we're in for a fight to push for automatic promotion or the playoffs. If you want to pause the video at any point going through this shortlist, then feel free to do so, because I am still going through quite quickly. There are a couple of players that we've had initial scout reports back for that I've decided are really not worth my time pursuing, so I actually removed them whilst going through this list. But as you can see, we're still waiting for even the initial scout reports on a handful of players. There are a couple that we've had full scout reports back for, which is fantastic, including Sean Scannell from Huddersfield, who actually looks pretty decent, but we probably have better options. But it's nice to know that there are kind of backup options available for cheap money that could do a job for us here in the Championship. But so many players to look at and to go through and to initially try and get bids in for. So we're going to be so busy over the next few episodes putting in bids for all of these players. I wanted to wait until I got the initial half scout reports back so I could tell whether someone was going to be worth my while chasing. I didn't want to, go out and prioritise a player thanks to him being really popular in the comments for him to then not be worth my time, if you know what I mean. But to be fair to you guys, almost every single one of your suggestions do look like there would be a positive addition to the side. Martin Odegaard and Ryan Gould particularly look like very good potential additions to the side for us for an attacking midfielder slot, although we have only played the 4-4-2 so far. I am thinking of testing different formations, or was planning on testing different formations in the pre-season tournament, but the 4-4-2 felt so strong that I just stayed with it. But I think in the Capital One Cup game against Bolton in the next episode, I am going to experiment with a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3 of some description, because we do have a lot of central midfielders at the club, and there are plenty of cam-style players that would be nice additions. So we'll fiddle with the formation over the upcoming games, although I'm thinking of sticking with the initial 4-4-2 for the first league game against Hull, because it's the one I'm most confident with right now with this Forest side, and it's one that I know I can do some work with, so it will give us the most accurate representation of where this side is right now against a side that are also going to be challenging for promotion out of the Championship this season. But that's going to bring today's episode to a close, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think of all of the players I've got in that shortlist and which ones you think I should prioritise over others. Like I say, feel free to go back and pause the video at any particular point to have a closer look at some of the players' individual stats, or they're just kind of rough guides at the minute, apart from one or two that are full scout reports. But yeah, it's been such a hard decision to go through and to throw away half of the options that you guys have given me already, and to go through, we're going to have so many bids going in the next episode. It's only like 2 weeks until the first game against Hull, but there's so many things that I could be doing in the transfer window in the next episode. We may not even have any actual gameplay because there's so many transfers to be done or transfers to be started. So it's just going to be absolutely mental. I wanted to make sure that I got as many suggestions as I could before I really threw myself head on into the transfer window, which is why we haven't really put in too many bids or any bids so far after 3 episodes. And I wanted to make sure that I got at least the rough scout reports back. I'm sure you guys can understand we don't want to waste any money when we've got limited resources and a lot of players to buy. I can't be wasting a single penny at this stage of the season. We're using the Scout Future Star as well, which would be fantastic. Really looking forward to see what the Scout comes back with that. And obviously we've spent the money that we made from the pre-season tournament on a maximum rating youth scout as well, so hopefully he'll come back with a couple of star players as well. We're using him in England domestically, which makes sense for realism purposes, for 9 months, so I'm really, fingers crossed, hoping for some 90 or at least 85 plus potential players to come back from him, and the Scout Future Star hopefully will be rated 90 plus or have the potential to be rated 90 plus should we maximise it. So that's going to be all for today's episode. Thank you very much for watching. There was episode number 1 of the Valencia career mode go live earlier on today, so make sure you check the channel page for that if you missed it. All the links to the social media are in the description down below. You can see them on screen. My Twitter, my Instagram, my Facebook, my Twitch, etc. And feel free, of course, to check out the No Identity merchandise store if you'd like to pick yourself up a t-shirt for Christmas. But for now, thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time.